Greetings and welcome to another inspiring message from Joel Osteen. In this video, he shares a powerful message about not giving up on your dreams, even when it seems impossible. Joel reminds us that when negative thoughts try to talk us out of our dreams, we should say, "No thanks, I know my right time is coming." We don't have to figure everything out on our own, because what God has promised us is already on the schedule. We can trust that it will happen exactly when it's supposed to, not 1 second later. We all have something we're waiting for, whether it's a dream coming to pass, meeting the right person, or a breakthrough in our health. Sometimes, it can be discouraging when we don't see any signs of progress, and we feel like it's never going to happen. But Isaiah tells us that when the time is right, the Lord will make it happen. God has already scheduled our healing, our breakthrough, and our promotion. There are right time moments in our future when everything will fall into place. The right people will show up, opportunities will find us, and what we've been believing for will finally come to fruition. It's essential to understand that God has a right time for everything, and that time has already been scheduled by the Creator of the universe. When we know that our right time is coming, we can live in peace instead of worry and frustration. We can trust that God is working behind the scenes, moving the wrong people out of the way, lining up favor, and arranging the breaks we need. So, don't give up on your dreams. Don't let negative thoughts talk you out of them. Trust that your right time is coming, and when it does, everything will fall into place. Stay positive, keep believing, and watch as God works wonders in your life. Joel Osteen reminds us that it's important not only to trust God, but to trust His timing. Sometimes, our thoughts can deceive us into thinking that our dreams will never come to pass, that we'll never meet the right person, or that we'll never overcome our health problems. However, we must resist those lies and hold on to our faith. At the right time, all the forces of darkness cannot stop what God has planned for us. When our right time comes, our healing will manifest, the person of our dreams will show up, and our business will take off. We will come out of addiction, depression, and trouble at work and live in freedom, wholeness, and victory. We should not get discouraged because our breakthrough hasn't happened yet. Our right time is coming. God has already scheduled our breakthroughs, promotions, and healing. We don't have to make them happen ourselves, manipulate things, or force doors to open. God will do it in His time. Even if we have obstacles that seem too big for us, we're not alone. God will open the doors, turn our situation around, and make things happen that we could never make happen on our own. The key to experiencing our breakthroughs is to have faith and patience. We live in a fast-paced society where we want everything to happen now. But we must learn to trust God's timing. He can see the big picture and knows what's best for us. If our breakthrough hasn't happened yet, it's because it hasn't been the right time. We must trust Him and know that He has not forgotten about us. If our situation is not changing, perhaps God is using the situation to change us. He may be developing our character, getting us stronger, and preparing us to carry the weight of glory. The test is where we learn to trust Him while we're waiting for our right time. Therefore, let us not be talked out of our dreams by negative thoughts. Let us trust in God's perfect timing and believe that our right time is coming. When we hold on to our faith and patiently wait for His timing, we will experience our breakthroughs, our dreams will come to pass, and we will live in the fullness of His blessings. Trusting in God's timing is not always easy, especially when we are facing challenges and difficulties. It can be tempting to try to take matters into our own hands and force things to happen, but Joel Osteen reminds us that this is not the way to go. God has a plan for each and every one of us, and He knows the best time for our dreams to come to fruition. When we trust in His timing, we can have peace and confidence knowing that He is working behind the scenes to bring about the best possible outcome. It's important to remember that just because we may not see progress or results right away, it doesn't mean that God isn't working. He is always at work in our lives, even when we can't see it. Sometimes, God allows us to go through difficult situations in order to strengthen our faith and character. It may be uncomfortable or even painful, but in the end, it will be worth it. We can have faith and trust in God's timing by praying and seeking His guidance, reading and meditating on His Word, and staying connected to a supportive community of believers. So if you're feeling discouraged or like your dreams are never going to come to pass, remember that your right time is coming. God has already scheduled it, and He will make it happen in His perfect timing. Just keep believing and trusting in Him, and watch as He works everything out for your good. Maintaining a positive attitude and keeping the faith is crucial, especially when you feel like nothing is happening in your life. During such moments, it's easy to get discouraged, feel stressed out, and wonder when God is going to act. You might ask yourself when you'll meet the right person, when your business will grow, or when people will start treating you better. However, you need to relax and come back to a place of peace. Remember, God sees what you're going through and knows what you need. He's the one who put those dreams and goals in you, and what He has proposed for your life will come to pass. Your thoughts might tell you that you're falling behind, that you're missing out, and that everyone else is getting ahead of you. But keep honoring God and doing the right thing, and you will come into those right time moments where He's going to thrust you ahead. It might have been a long time waiting, but when you see what God does, you will be amazed. The story of Abraham and Sarah is a powerful reminder that what God has spoken to you may seem impossible, but it's important not to get talked out of your dream or doubt what God has promised. Even when doubts and thoughts tell you that it's been too long or there's no way it can happen, you must hold on to your faith and keep believing. Instead of doubting, you should say no, thanks, and trust that your right times are coming. Thank God that what He has promised is already on the schedule and that you don't have to figure it out. You just have to trust that He will make it happen, and it won't be 1 second late. Abraham and Sarah had to wait a long time before they had a baby. At first, they didn't believe it was possible, and they were filled with doubt. But God said in Genesis 18, "Is there anything too hard for the Lord? At the appointed time, I will return and give Sarah a son." Whatever God has promised you, He has already set the right time for it to happen. The key is to wait in faith, with expectancy, and with praise, thanking God in advance that it's on the way. Even though it may be taking longer than you thought, God's timing is not your timing. On the way to your promise being fulfilled, there will be opportunities to get discouraged, but you must dig down deep and trust God. Joel Osteen said, "Don't live with a 'it's never going to happen' mentality. Live with the right time mentality." God doesn't tell us when, but He does what He promised when the time is right. When you trust God's timing, He's going to make it happen. Abraham and Sarah made some mistakes while waiting for their promised child. They tried to help God out by having Abraham sleep with Sarah's maid, but that caused all kinds of strife and division. You don't have to help God out or manipulate the situation. Instead, you have to trust God's timing, even if it may not happen as fast as you would like. So, keep your faith and hold on to your dreams. God's timing is perfect, and it's much better to wait for Him to do it His way. When He fulfills His promise to you, it's going to be bigger, better, and more rewarding than what you had in mind. When we try to rush things and take matters into our own hands, it often leads to unnecessary complications and setbacks. But when we trust in God's timing, we can be sure that the result will be worth the wait. Abraham and Sarah finally had a son, Isaac, at the age of 190, respectively. It was a miraculous fulfillment of God's promise, and it brought them immense joy and satisfaction. Similarly, whatever God has promised you, it will come to pass at the appointed time. It may seem impossible, and there may be many obstacles in your way, but don't let doubt and discouragement get the better of you. Hold on to your dream and keep your faith in God's promises. You may have to wait for a while, but don't wait with a negative attitude. Wait with hope, expectancy, and praise, thanking God in advance for what He is going to do. Abram and Sarah's story teaches us an important principle of faith. Despite being 100 years old and having been barren all her life, Sarah never stopped believing that the promise of a child would come to pass. And even though they tried to force it to happen by having a child through Sarah's maid, they eventually learned to trust God's timing and waited patiently for the promise to be fulfilled. As Joel Osteen said, we too must keep thanking God for the right time that is coming, even though we don't see how or when it will happen. We must trust that God is faithful and has put the right time on our schedule. Interestingly, Sarah's desire for a child was only a small part of what God had in store for her. God wanted to bless her with not just a son, but with a whole nation. In Genesis 17, God promised that Sarah would be the mother of nations, and that kings of people would come out of her. Perhaps the reason why our dreams take longer to come to fruition is that God has something much bigger and more fulfilling in store for us. Our dreams may seem small and insignificant compared to what God has in mind for us. Just as Sarah gave birth not just to a son, but to nations, we too may give birth to something much greater than we ever imagined. We just need to trust in God's timing and have faith that He will bring our dreams to pass in His perfect way. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to get notified anytime we post a new video. God bless you.